Hello, and good morning. It is I, Juice, Hugo, Yikes, of Resident Alien Productions. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in today. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. You see? Got a got a new microphone. Does it sound crispy? Does it sound crispy? Probably doesn't sound that crispy. It's not too expensive of a mic, but I had to do something. Old mic broken, camera mic, not the best audio whatsoever. But here we are. So, episode 3 of Wandavision is here. And I was so excited to see what they had in store for the friendly residents of sunny Westview. So right now, click off the video if you haven't seen it. This is your spoiler warning. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Okay, we good? Gotcha. All right. So we're going to do a quick refresher of the show so far. Everything in the first 2 episodes was black and white, set in the early I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke era of TV shows. You know, the show is going throughout different eras of American sitcom. Like I said, everything was black and white, save for a few strange exceptions. And at the end of episode 2, Wanda is suddenly pregnant, and everything starts to gain color. Episode 3 is a 70s style, Brady Bunch, Partridge Family type. And it starts off with Vision and Wanda having a house call from a doctor. You know, as I said in the episode 2, she's suddenly pregnant. So the doctor's, doing the routine pregnancy checkup. And Vision just seems completely confused and just doesn't understand how this could have happened. For the fact that she literally wasn't pregnant 1 second and then was like 4 months pregnant the next. And also how she could get pregnant in the first place. Her being a human and Vision being a android synthezoid type. He's like asking the doctor question like, how could this happen and everything. The doctor does the whole, well, when a man and a woman love each other very much, that whole trope from TV. Wanda's just kind of, trying to just kind of move things along, kind of brushing Vision's questions aside. The doctor finishes the checkup and Vision walks him out, and the doctor lets him know that he's about to leave town. Him and his wife are going on vacation to Bermuda. Well, as he walks the doctor out, he sees his neighbor, his friend, Herb. Says, "What to do, Herb?" Herb's like, "What's good?" And Herb's trimming the hedges. And this is another instance where we see some of the perfect reality start to crack. He's trimming the hedges, but he just continues to trim through the concrete brick fence that's right by the hedges, and he's like halfway through the fence, and Vision's like, "Bro, you good? You good, bro?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And it was just really weird. So we got Wanda and Vision. They at home doing the whole new parents thing. Practicing changing diapers, building a nursery and everything, putting together a crib, reading pregnancy books. And in the midst of all that, they're talking about baby names. Vision, he picks Billy for William Shakespeare. And Wanda, she says Tommy. Says that's a good all-American name. And that's a nod to Billy and Tommy, who their kids in the comics, who went on to become Wicked and Speed, the Young Avengers. So Vision, he's like doing the math of like her symptoms and things, and he's like trying to figure out how far along she really is and when she should have the baby. So he comes up with the number, well, just how things are progressing so far, you should have the baby, it seems like by Friday. She then starts to have Braxton Hicks contractions. Now, me being a father of 2, I know a little bit about these things. Vision, he was reading up on it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Braxton Hicks, those come around 6 months." She's like, 6 months? What the hell? So it seems that the pregnancy is progressing a little faster than they expected. So like, as he like tells her to like lay down, and he's like kind of freaking out because like it's moving along way quicker than what we thought. Like, what's going on? And he starts floating, and she's like trying to calm him down. And they calm down. They do the whole breathing thing and everything. He calms down. He lowers down to the ground. After she calms him down, she's still having the Braxton Hicks contractions. Like I said, stuff started going a little crazy. The power went out. And she asks, I wonder if they know it's me who's causing these things to happen. And Vision asks, who, the neighbors? And to me, that kind of stood out, because it was like, well, who else would she be talking about? And she was like, of course. And that's when he went into it's like, well, now that you say something, things do seem a little bit off. He referenced the dinner that they had in the first episode with his boss and his boss's wife, where things like kind of glitched out. The wife was asking them questions about, how long they'd been together and where they came from, things like that. And they didn't have a backstory. They didn't know. And then the boss chokes on the dinner, and the wife is like glitching out, like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, as he's like choking out on the floor. And then Wanda tells Vision to, save him. He has to use his powers to go in his boss's throat and take out the food that was stuck in there. And then boss and the wife get up and leave like nothing happened. So he references that. He also references him seeing his man Herb trying to cut through the fence with the hedge trimmers. And he's like, yeah, something just doesn't seem right here. And Wanda just kind of looks like, I'm not trying to have this conversation. And we have like a glitch jump cut to seconds before, when she first asks, I wonder if they know I'm causing these issues. And it's a totally different line of dialogue. It's like it never happened. He doesn't say anything about things aren't right here. He just says, we're in uncharted waters, and we're going to be parents and all this good stuff, regular sitcom speak. And it was kind of similar to in episode 2, when she first found out she was pregnant. They heard a bang, went outside, and they saw a man in a beekeeper outfit climbing out the sewers. And she was like, no. And everything just rewound to before they heard the bang, and it's like it never happened. So she rewound things again, and they just had a normal conversation. Then her water breaks. Everything starts raining in there and everything. It's funny. Like I said, her powers are going crazy because she's having these contractions and everything. Her water breaks. Vision's like, oh shit, I gotta go get the doctor. You about to have this baby. So Vision dips out to go get the doctor. Wanda's in the house trying to regain her composure. There's a knock at the door. It's Monica Rambeau, aka Geraldine, and she asks to borrow a bucket because, just like how things were leaking and it was raining in Wanda, just like how it was raining in Wanda and Vision's house, I guess it's been doing that in the whole neighborhood. So she needed a bucket. Wanda didn't want to let on she was pregnant, because literally the last time people saw her, she wasn't, which was like the day before. So she put on a jacket to try to like cover up her stomach. And I thought that was funny as well. That's like that silly trope that they do in TV shows when a character's pregnant. They don't want people to know. They're like, wear a big coat or something to try to cover up their stomach. It's like, I can see your big ass 9-month pregnant tum-tum sticking through that coat like it's a jacket, not an invisibility cloak. You feel me? But she answers the door and she says, all right, stay right here. I'll go get you a bucket. She goes in the kitchen to look for a bucket. She's still having contractions. Things are still going a little bit crazy. Her jacket keeps switching up and things are like flying around and everything. So eventually, Geraldine's like, well, yeah, I can come in there. I can help you out. So as Geraldine's coming in the kitchen, Wanda like runs over and like grabs a bowl of fruit to try to cover up her stomach. She turns around. Geraldine sees it. She's like, oh, snap, fruit. She grabs the apple, starts to eat it, and she's like, yeah, let me tell you about my day. So she starts to tell her about what happened at work. Wanda's power is still tripping. A stork appears behind Geraldine. So Wanda's like looking like, oh shit. Geraldine's like, my bad, let me get up out of here. I don't want to bother you no more. Wanda's like, no, go ahead, stay. I don't want you to see this stork. She didn't say that, but it was implied heavily. So she's like humoring Geraldine to keep her from leaving. She's trying to do everything in her powers to keep the stork from showing himself to Geraldine. Let me just say this. The stork seemed really creepy to me. I ain't gonna lie. I already feel like storks are kind of creepy creatures, especially the shoebill stork. Look that shit up. That looked like something out of Jumanji. But the stork looked extra creepy. She was doing everything in her power to stop the stork, trying to get it to disappear, trying to get it to... She tried her powers, and her powers just was like a puff of smoke, and the stork just fanning it away like it's nothing. She like threw an orange at it and then like dashed off, but then it came back. So eventually she scared the stork off enough, and he ran off into their newly designed nursery, which just happened to be right behind them. Just so happened, Geraldine said she needed some paper as well, and she went into the nursery behind the stork. She didn't see the stork because when Wanda and Vision were setting up the nursery earlier in the show, they had painted a painting of a stork holding a baby in a little like baby napkin thing or whatever it is. And the stork was standing in front of the painting, so she didn't realize it was a real stork, but she did realize that this was a fucking nursery. That's the crib right there. And then she turns around, Wanda drops the bowl of fruit. She's having a contraction. She's like, oh shit, this baby's coming down. She's like, oh snaps, you pregnant. She was about to have that baby. So Vision gets to the doctor just as the doctor is working on his vehicle. As I said earlier, doctor said him and his wife is going on vacation, but somehow, some way, his vehicle was out of commission. He was trying to fix it. So Vision runs up, literally throws this man on his back, and takes off like the speed of light back to the house. So shit is going haywire with Wanda and Geraldine, like pictures spinning on the wall, doors opening and slamming, shit flying around, vacuum cleaner just going by itself. Geraldine's like, I know there's probably a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. I'm not even worried about that. I just want to help you have this baby. So then boom. Right before Vision and the doctor gets there, she has the baby. Vision comes over and holds the baby. He's like, oh, beautiful little Tommy. She's like, Tommy, sweet, you chose my name. Every man knows if you ain't there, especially for the birth, you kind of give away your rights to name the child. So he did the right thing there. Geraldine tells the doctor, can you help me in the kitchen with something? They step off, and it's just Vision, Wanda, and little baby Tommy. And Wanda's like, don't you want him to see you how you look? So Vision takes off his disguise and he changes back to regular green and purple Vision. And as he's holding Tommy, Wanda starts having contractions again and everything. He's like, what's going on? Boom. She's having another baby. So they are now the parents of twin boys, Billy and Tommy. Vision walks the doctor out and asks the doctor, you still going on vacation? The doctor, looks at him and says, nah, we're probably not going to leave. It's, how it is in small towns. It's hard to escape. Yeah. So Vision walks the doctor out and he asks him, are you still going to be able to go on vacation with your wife? And the doctor, he says, I'm like, nah, we probably won't leave. You know how it is with small towns. It's hard to escape. And his voice was cracking like he was about to cry and shit. So Vision just kind of looked at him like, all right. Turns and looks. So we see Agnes for the first time in this episode. She's over there having a conversation with his neighbor Herb. He says, what's good, y'all? They say, yeah. And then as he's about to go back in the house, he hears them whispering. He hears them whispering about his wife. So as any loving partner would do, he went to go see what they were saying about his base station 5. He pushes up on them. They don't really have anything to say about Wanda at the time. They're just like, yeah, been going on crazy. The power went out, all that good stuff. So as he's about to leave, Agnes is like, hey, Vision, is Wanda in there with Geraldine? And he's like, yeah. Cut back to Wanda and Geraldine in the house. Wanda's putting the baby boys in the crib, and, she's talking to Geraldine. She's like, I was a twin. I had a brother named Pietro. And if you're familiar with the MCU, Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, is one of the fastest mutants in the world, I guess you could say. And this ain't X-Men. And Quicksilver, the last time we saw him was in Age of Ultron, where he unfortunately did not make it. And we're not talking about the X-Men Quicksilver. We got to remember those X-Men Fox films are not MCU yet. is the key word. So when Wanda says this, Geraldine is just kind of looking like, So Wanda starts singing a Sokovian lullaby to the babies, and Geraldine's like, your brother was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And Wanda was just kind of like, what you say? We cut back to Vision, Agnes, and Herb outside. Herb and Agnes are kind of, giving some dishing the dirt on Geraldine, if you will. They're like, she just moved in town out of nowhere, no family, no husband. And Vision like, that's cool. It is what it is. And it's like, yeah, she doesn't have a home. Like, hold up, how she moving to town? She don't have a home. What you mean? We cut back to Wanda and Geraldine in the house, and Wanda putting the press on Geraldine now. She's like, yeah, what you say? Like, what you say about my brother? What you say? She's like, no, I didn't say nothing about your, what you talking about, girl? So Geraldine tried to change the subject. Wanda was not having it. She like, nah, bump that. I think you need to leave. And then she notices the necklace that Geraldine had on had the sword logo on it. Now, sword is the same logo that was on the toy helicopter that Wanda found in episode 2. Also on the same logo that was on the beekeeper's uniform who crawled out of the sewer at the end of episode 2. So she was definitely suspicious once she saw that. She's like, yeah, who are you? Who the fuck is you? So we cut back to Vision, Agnes, and Herb outside. And Herb's like, well, we're asking because, Geraldine came here too. She came here because we're all, and Vision's like, we're all what? And as he was about to say it, Agnes turned to him like with the most terrified look in her eyes and was like, stop it. So they just dropped it. Agnes got on her bike and rode off. Herb just was like, all right, Vision, I'll holler at you. Stepped off. So Vision is extremely confused and understandably shaken up at this point. He don't know what the hell is going on. Runs back in the house, like in his regular skin. So sounds so weird to say, in his regular skin. But he ran back in the house in his regular skin. And he's like, Wanda, he's like kind of rushing in there, like just want to make sure that Wanda's okay. He's like, where's Geraldine? It's like, oh, she had to rush home. And it's just her and the babies in there. And she had like a semi-menacing look in her eyes. So then the screen, it changes to like normal screen ratio, Like I said, the show was like throughout the different time periods and different eras in TV. So it switches to what we're used to looking at for a TV show. And it shows a sign for Westview. And then you see Monica get ejected through the sky and land on the ground. She got shot out of like a blue static wall thing that's like surrounding Westview. It's like some type of bubble that's surrounding Westview. She got ejected out of that, falls on the grass, and we get a better glimpse of the sword base that's right there. Sword is a subdivision of SHIELD. It stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. But we see all the sword base, and we see the sword soldiers, and their helicopters and Humvees pull up on her and everything. And she's still wearing like her 70s clothes, which is like, I feel like to me it just says whatever happens like in that alternate reality that they got going on in Westview, like is actually happening. You feel me? And it can change at the drop of a hat. We then get a better view of the base, and then we also get a view of Westview, and you can see the blue bubble thing that's like surrounding the place. You can see it like electrifying in certain spots and everything like that. Then we cut to a TV screen. It has a please stand by message and roll credits. There was also a commercial in there for a product called Hydra Soak. The commercial setup is like supposed to be like targeted towards like hardworking moms and things like that. You're having a hard day, have a hydro soak and take your problems away. To be anywhere you want to be. Slogans like "Find your inner goddess." I'm sure that has some deep double meaning. I haven't figured it out yet, but you know how that goes. So that's episode 3. My overall opinion of it, I liked it. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't like it as much as the first 2 episodes, but I think that was just more so because I was just going through MCU withdrawal at the time, and I just really, really, really needed my fix. One of the main things I liked about this episode, for one, with it being in color, that was easier on my eyes. And then for 2, it definitely moved the story along much quicker, I feel, than the first 2 episodes. It is really, honestly, just has me super excited to see how much further they're going to go. I just want them to bring in mutants. That's what I want. That's what I want. I know everyone's like looking forward to like Mephisto and all the multiverse stuff and all that's cool. You feel me? Like, yeah, that's cool and everything. But I want mutants in the MCU. Like I said earlier, X-Men, all those X-Men films we've seen with Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, those aren't part of the MCU as of right now. Those were Fox films at the time. And before Disney bought Fox, Marvel didn't have the rights to make films about the X-Men. So I'm eager to see the X-Men and different mutants and how they're woven into the current MCU. But that's it for today. Y'all know the whole routine. If you like the video, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Check out all the links in the description. Links to my merch, links to my music, links to my social medias. Follow me on all platforms. Juice_Darwin 2030 on Instagram. Resident_Alien_Productions on Instagram. Mars_by JCB on Instagram. Darwin Juice on Twitter. Resident Alien Prod on TikTok. Definitely check me out on TikTok. Let's get them views up. And yeah, that's it. I'm out. Peace.